Good, how are you?
Good, good. All right, call the meeting to order and show that we have members, Mr. Ralph, Mr. Sykes present, Mr. Babs is not present. We do have a quorum, so we will move forward. And Troy, if you want to run it or if you want me to, whatever is easiest.
I'll let you go ahead.
Sounds good.
Yep.
We do have a hearing today and Mr. Stacy is present, so if you guys want to go ahead, we can jump down to that on the agenda under new business and address him, and then he can go about his day if he wishes. So does that work for everybody?
Yep.
All right, so cause number 2026-unsafe-01. Mr. Lonsberry did issue a notice and order concerning this property, and property is located at 825 South Gardner Street here in Scottsburg. Brian, I'll turn it over to you to address what the issue is on the property and what action you've taken and what action the property owner has taken at this time.
On the property there, just driving by, looking at it, obviously the structural, the deterioration of the walls, roof is gone.
You got any pictures you can throw up?
Oh, yeah. Put that up here. I believe only one or two walls is actually standing and the bricks are just laying out there, and it's been out there for a while. Let me pull this up here. A little slow on the Wi-Fi. Can't help that part. But the action we've taken is Mr. Stacy was served with the paperwork sent by mail and then also posted at the last known address about the situation. And then as far as what I've seen since then, I believe there is a John Deere backhoe out front. I don't know, maybe a couple scoops have been moved, but I was just driving by. It doesn't look much. One or two scoops. That's what I have, if I can get these.
Now, as far as your notice and order, what was the corrective action you were asking for?
To tear down, remove, or clean up. I mean, as you can see here, the roof believed to be non-existent. Then let's go back here. Again, this from the front. Basically, the whole building, from what I have seen, the whole building is not structurally sound. I mean, the roof's gone, the sides are gone, the stuff has fell inside, and the trees are growing up through it. So as far as being structurally sound, I don't believe that's the case. And then, the debris and the construction waste and debris and the building materials all needs picked up and removed, needs cleaned up.
So I believe your original order and notice gave the property owner 30 days. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you did mention that there is equipment at the site and that there may be some work ongoing. Is that your understanding?
Yes.
As far as your request of this for, are you asking them to adopt your order and issue a continuous enforcement order?
Yes.
Does anyone have any questions for our code officer?
You're asking for what?
Continuous order to continue to clean up the property.
Where we're at right now, we have.
Well, hold on one second. We'll give you your opportunity. Does anyone have any questions for Officer Lonsberry before we turn it over to the property owner?
No.
All right, Grover. Yeah.
Okay,
Let
where
us
we're
know what's
at,
going on.
I told Terry about 6 months ago, I put a fence up front, but I never did get it done. But anyway, we're cleaning all that up front out that you see there. And then we're gonna put a wood fence across the front. And then we gotta work on the inside, we got antique cars and stuff in there, we gotta kind of work around.
I know
Clean that
there's-
out, so we'll have the front looking, by the end of the week, the front will look really good.
I don't know if just putting up the wooden fence though, if the building's still gonna be tore down and in that shape, is gonna solve.
Well, that's what I'm saying, then we're gonna go inside and start working from the other end and hauling that out.
Is the whole goal to tear the whole building down and clean it all up?
I hadn't really decided, I thought about just, the walls are good way back, the two side walls, the front's gone, the back is good. I thought about just putting a roof on part of it, and make it a smaller building with new trusses. And, but I may tear it down and put a new steel building.
I mean, with the board here, I mean, as on the unanimous decision, we would like to see improvement, you know, continue on, but as far as a timeline, I think I would have to leave that up to whatever the board agrees, you know. If he's gonna put a fence up, how long do we allow him to put the fence up? If he's gonna do this, to make sure we keep moving forward, not, we just do one thing and then we don't do anything else for a year.
No, we're not gonna do that.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so Grover, basically, a continuous enforcement order is the next step. That's where this board would basically adopt the original order, finding that the property is unsafe, that it is not in compliance with code, and that corrective action is necessary. It also gives us the authority that if, for whatever reason, the work that you've stated does not get done or it does not become compliant with code, the city's authorized to take any action necessary to make it code compliant. That would include entering the property, perform demolition, removal, and abatement activities, and take any additional action necessary to remedy the unsafe condition. Also, under statute, we would be any cost incurred by the city enforcing the order, including administrative costs, attorney's fees, and abatement costs, would be assessed against the property and recorded as a lien against the real estate. There's also civil penalties and additional remedies for failure to comply with a continuous enforcement order that this board could consider if it came to that. Obviously, our goal is it not to come to that and that it become code compliant. Sounds like that's what you're working towards. So essentially, this would be an order that would be recorded on the property, and then once complied with, once the property is back in compliance with code, we would release our order. So that's really the steps and the involvement of this board is to get it back into compliance with code. So I would share similar concerns that Brian addressed is, you know, a fence is probably would be helpful. There's nothing, we would not prevent or want to prevent you from putting a fence up, but just putting a fence up without making the property compliant with code doesn't fix.
I
The
realize
whole
that, but the
yeah.
fence would be the quickest way to get it, started where it looks good and people can't blunder back in there when you're cleaning it up.
Absolutely. I just wanted to,
And,
and it sounded like we were on the same page. I just want to make sure that we're all clear that just putting a fence up and doing nothing else would not be corrective action. But from a liability standpoint and everything else, I completely understand why you would want to put up a fence. But as far as from your perspective, what is your timeline to become compliant with code?
it'd probably take 3 or 4 months because we've got other buildings we gotta keep up too.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be, it's not gonna be a real long-term thing.
So,
Terry knows how to run a backhoe. He's gonna help us on weekends.
yeah. So generally, my recommendation to the board is on this property and any others, we would just leave this on the agenda. You're not going to be needing to appear each time unless we tell you to. But if you want to, you're more than welcome to, and then ask for an update from Brian. Hey, where's this property at? And if it's moving in the right direction, I wouldn't recommend any further abatement action. If it stops moving in the right direction, then we would have the authority to move forward. Obviously, you have the equipment. it would cost you a lot less than it would cost us to go hire somebody to bill your taxes for it. So, and we don't want to do that because it takes time and, money that we have to put up out front that we prefer not to. So the overall goal for the board is to have compliance, and if you work with us, we'll work with you.
It should have been cleaned up a long time ago, but you know how stuff goes.
Oh, absolutely. So, anybody have any questions for Mr. Stacy?
You're saying 3 to 4 months to have it all
We should-
cleaned up?
Yeah.
And then obviously if he's gonna put a building up or trusses, he's gonna get a permit through building and zoning and all that, and it'll be up to code on that
Right.
part, obviously. So I am okay with that, and then following up and checking on it, and then every time we have the meeting monthly is come back to the board and I'll swing by there, I'll take a couple photos, hey, this is where he was.
Mhm.
As you can see, this here is going on and on, so they can see the process. And I'm good with that. But that usually with the photos, he's working on it, he's doing something, you know. And with them, you know, like I stated before, I just make sure we're significantly moving, not just, I get some people, they take one bag of trash, but they got 100. We gotta do a little bit more, if that makes sense. You know,
Take one
noticeable.
a week, it'd be done 2 years.
Yeah, but you know, that's why you're, oh, making progress. Well, we gotta find a little higher gear here. So, but yeah, I'm okay with that as long as the board's okay. We're gonna monitor and we're gonna take photos and keep track. And then if you guys are comfortable with 4 months, we'll just put it on 4 months from now that this all property should be cleaned up with the weather being good now.
Yeah,
We should, hopefully, besides the rainstorms, it's not the dead of winter, it should be the best time to do it now.
remember, we accept volunteers.
Man, right there, get a Saturday open.
Gentlemen, based upon the evidence and testimony presented, I would recommend a motion be made to adopt the continuous enforcement order. That be all of the activity today based upon the testimony and expected action. And then we will have it back on the agenda next meeting to make sure we're working towards compliance.
Motion, we do that.
Motion, do I have a second?
Yep.
A second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously 2-0.
And if you got any questions, you know, in a week or two, I can give you my number. I have no problem stopping by there any day you're there. If you, hey, Don, you just, I have no problem.
Stop by about dinner time.
Yeah, I can stop by and answer any questions, so.
Okay.
Can you run a backhoe?
I can.
Eric will train you.
So,
Well, if that's all y'all need out of me, I'm gonna get out of here.
You're fun, Grover. You're fun. Thank you for helping.
Rover, you
Thank
will
for
receive a copy in the mail of the
Okay.
order. So again, if you got any questions, just let Brian know. We'll go from there.
helping. I'm sorry.
Give
Thank
me
you.
your number.
yeah,
Thank you so
yeah,
much.
yeah.
I said, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's write it down here.
Anybody else need sign?
No, just you,
Just me.
and then I'll know.
Okay.
Staying busy?
One, yeah. How about you? You're always busy.
Yeah.
I can see you.
Good to see, good to see you, Grover.
Thanks for coming. We appreciate it. Makes it a lot
See you,
easier.
Grover.
Yes.
All right, we're gonna jump back up to the top. We've got the approval of the minutes. Minutes were circulated from the January 14th meeting. Does everyone have a chance to review those? Assuming so, entertain a motion to adopt.
Make a motion, we adopt.
Have a motion, do we have a second?
Yep.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Hearing none, motion carries unanimously 2-0. All right, Brian, you're up.
Update. You guys. Got one. Just gonna go down my list here. Vehicles, including trailers. We have between towing and just moving and people cleaning up their own, 124 now. Just give you an update on vehicles. As far as today,
24 from when?
from when we first started, probably what was that, 8-9 months ago. So where, you know, I towed one yesterday, but most time people either remove them themselves or, you know, they bring them up to snuff. It's okay. As of today, we have 11 properties in the city that we can start mowing, that they have already been served paperwork and notified that from here on out for the rest of the year, we can just go ahead and mow. We don't have to do anything else. We can just, so, which is good. We're trying to stay ahead rather than behind. So there's that. I mowed one on Keith Street last week. I got that one mowed, so that was turned into Jan to bill out for the taxes.
And there's most of these vacant or there's people there?
This one on Keith Street is vacant. The gentleman passed away a couple years ago.
Oh, okay.
And that one, I knew that one was coming.
Right.
But the other ones, a lot of them are rentals or homeowners are there, you know, and we're getting ahead of it now, getting these out to where we're not trying to do it in July, you know,
Right.
we're getting ahead of it. And, you know, they're letting them outgrow. So we're just serving them. And then with being able to post it on the door makes it so much faster. We don't have to wait, you know, months.
So how do we charge by that? I mean, is it by hourly rate or?
It is, it's right here. It is. I think I have it in here. I think it's 150 to mow and 75. Yeah, it's on my desk. It's 150 to mow, I believe, and it's $75 administrative fee. That's what it is. So $225 to mow.
And then it goes up from there based upon the size, hours involved. There's the schedule of fees that's been approved by the Board of Works also includes if there's bush hogging, removal, things of that nature. And that fee is taken from basically what we expected pay of employees and cost of if there's removal, gas, all that stuff is factored in. So, I mean, obviously, we're not in the mowing business. So it's going to be more expensive for us to mow a property than for the landowner, renter, or whoever to contract or do it themselves. So we don't want to be in the mowing business.
No.
Yeah. And most of them, they get a red tag on the door, and that's 5 days, and then they get a letter posted on the property owner. So if it's a rental, it would go to the property that's posted on their door and notified. They get 10 days. So they've been notified. We're not just showing up out of the blue.
Right.
Just a mow.
Okay.
Just a mow. There's that. 415 South Main Street, we had Daphne Embry, the lady that had all the animals in the house. She is gone. She has been evicted. She is gone. The new owner has that. And I spoke with him the other day. They had a dumpster out there. They were cleaning that house out. So that's obviously good for us. The animals are out. So I know we had a lady complain about the animals and the smell, and then the house was just terrible. So that's going to be redone. I think he's going to make a rental out of it. But they were tearing up the floor and stuff, which is great.
Right.
Great for us.
Yeah.
Let's see. I know me and Josh met. We're looking at doing tickets for trash and stuff, and then we got a couple of properties we're going to move forward. Also, Josh has those. I think those right there. New tickets. We'll let you guys see those. The plan is for like trash, people with the small, I say small, like they got 5-6 bags of trash out there. They just want to pick up. We're going to red tag them. And then after 5 days, if they don't clean that up, they will get, served on the front door there, or the owner of the property was rental, taped on the front door. Hey, you got 10 days. After that, the first ticket will be, I think it's $100, and then we'll come back in 10 days more. If they haven't done it, it's $250. And that's applied. And then if that doesn't work, Josh will step in.
Right.
Hopefully, the plan is we're not just going straight to Josh and doing the whole thing.
Right.
Hopefully, this gets your attention. We can do this, and you've been given plenty of time. And again, if they call and, hey, can I have an extra day? I'm going Saturday to get it. Common sense is we're going to work with you.
Right.
The goal is not to just write tickets like there's no tomorrow. That's
Right.
not the goal. The goal is use common sense, but if they're not going to move, then we have to do something because it's not fair to the other neighbors to have that.
Right.
So,
Play equally.
yeah,
Yeah, I know, I mean, so the next round that we're working on, the only time a hearing is required to be set by the board is if we're asking for tear down, essentially, or sealing of the property. It cannot be entered. Most of the ones that are on the list there's a few that will probably be to that level, but most of them will be optional hearing. And what I mean by that is a hearing would be necessary if the property owner requested one. So hopefully the next report at the next meeting will include updates on some of those that they're taking corrective action on their own. And the only thing for you to consider is the CEOs, the continuous enforcement order like we issued today. Those would still come before you, but a hearing would be necessary unless it's asked. So trying to, streamline, make it as timely as we can.
to get some, kind of get a process and then also, once we get through these, I think there was 8 or 9 that Josh gonna have. Once we get through those are a lot of those are just mainly trash cleanup. We're not trying to tear down the house or anything like that.
Right.
It's just trash cleanup. But then moving forward, like I said, with the tickets is once it gets to Josh, we've kind of exhausted everything to be as fair as possible as we can before we come after you and send somebody in to clean up.
So we still have Meridian issues like that. So now we can actually give them a notice, and after 5 days, then they will be fined $100.
He's got the Meridian one.
Yeah, that one's coming to,
That-
we're going to the next step already on it.
So basically, I'm just saying, I'm just using that as an example.
But yes,
So,
Yes.
so basically then if they come back after 5 days, it's still not right. Then another one's given, and at that point, that fine will be $250.
I've got a couple, like on Owen Street I'm working on now. I spoke with the landlord. He asked, please give me the tickets because if they don't, then we're gonna go the other route. And if I can just issue a ticket and he's gonna do that, we don't have to go through the rest of the stuff.
Right.
And it's not a problem.
Right. That's awesome. That's
That's-
awesome. Thank you.
That's exactly what he asked for, please.
we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, well, if not, we can go the other route. We can always go the other route.
We always
have that. And then I did speak with Junior over the street department. He said he's gonna start kind of cleaning up around the corn factory. There's some tires. Somebody threw a mattress over there. I don't know why. Somebody drove out and filled and threw a mattress, but they didn't. I have no idea why.
So they didn't have to pay for it, $15.
So, and then, the last thing you would ask me about, on the mowing, I'm the one doing the mowing, but I remember you had said something about, should we have a third party do the mowing? Can we? I know it's what all the other cities do it, but if I'm trying to do all this,
All the other cities have it contracted out.
they use contractors.
I mean, we might need to adjust our fee
Yes,
schedule. I mean, our fee schedule is based on doing it in-house, but yeah, I would prefer it be done outside with a licensed or insured and bonded. It takes a lot of liability off us.
you know, just if I'm trying to drive around and get on to people and I gotta go get the truck and the trailer and the mower and go mow today, that kind of takes away from this. I don't mind doing it. It's
Right.
just, if I can say, hey, Johnny, mow this one over here, and whatever fee we have set that you guys agree on.
So my recommendation to you would be to do basically like a request for proposal. I mean, like a request for bids. It's not going to be anything that's going to arise to the level that we actually have to like send newspaper notice or anything to or accept bids. But any 3 or 4 people that you know in the area that do that type of service here locally, try to contact them, phone, letter. Hey, what would you charge to be on our list of city lots as they're necessary to be mowed, et cetera, and try to get some type of rate schedule from them, so then we can adopt the rates as necessary. Because the city would still have administrative fees, obviously.
Well, I know we charge $150 for like when we mow it. I don't know, I don't know, because I've never done it. I don't know if we can just, anytime they come mow one, I have one, that's what it is. They can't charge me more than that.
Well, that's what you got to find out. So I'm telling you,
Okay.
you need to I would contact several and see what they would charge you.
Okay.
And then document that.
What they would charge us to mow,
Yeah.
just a normal city, okay. Trying to get just a standard fee.
And you could do it similar to what we do with the sheriff's department and city police and everybody with the tow rotation is.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna do, because I do that on the tow rotation. I just call in dispatch and whoever's next is mine.
Yeah.
That would be the same to make it fair. But I didn't know, I've never applied for that, so I don't know if there's, what I'll have to get with Jan or you, however.
So what,
Apply for what?
Well, do we have to send that out to take bids, or? do I
Just
have to-
call them and ask them what would they charge to mow a standard city lot, and if it ended up being something that needed to be bush hogged or whatever, if they have a set fee, if they would give you a set fee to do that.
Okay.
And if you wanted me to put something together, just get with me after the meeting and discuss
If
it.
you-
But
Yeah, because I just never done it before. That's something.
so what is the criteria? I mean, so hot, so tall,
8 inches, can't be over 8
8
inches,
inches?
which the way the weather's been, doesn't take long.
Yeah,
Doesn't take long.
right.
so you have 4 inches there, yeah.
Yeah.
So it helps a lot, doesn't it?
And it's one of those, you use a little common sense. If it's rained 5 inches, somebody's not gonna be mowing the next day.
Right.
You gotta use a little common sense. You can get on to everybody on Friday, but they was gonna mow on Saturday anyways. If you just give them a chance, they was gonna do it anyways. And you're running in circles when you don't really need to. But there are some that people like to they just don't care. It's like, we just can't have that. So. But,
And most lots are 70 by 120, 150.
yeah, so if we can just get a set rate where we can just, that's fine.
Yeah.
And that's what I have.
Anybody have any questions for Brian?
What have you been over on the Meridian where the small little house is at? And that affluent was all just around that front porch.
I was there, that's the one that I spoke with the landlord, that on Tuesday, they're getting one of those for 100, and then we come back in 10 days, they're getting 250. And that's the one he said, if they don't want to clean up, then he has to file on them.
So
Yeah, I
if
was
that's the
there.
case, did you identify the others?
Yes,
It's with that same landlord.
yes,
Okay, so that whole group is, okay, that's good.
that was.
How many
that was-
different locations were there? 8?
He's got those ones right there. He's only got 2. He's got the one on Owen, and he's got the one on Meridian. Those were his. And then he has another one on Meridian.
2 on Meridian.
He had another one on Meridian. I think maybe he had 3. But the other properties that he has, the one guy is spotless.
What about so you've got 2 on Owen?
Got one on Owen, one on Meridian, and another one down the street on Meridian by the post office. That's all the same person.
You have Bond, what about Bond Street? Bond and Meridian, Bond and Owen.
And
That's the same landlord.
Meridian.
Bond, Meridian, but with Bond as well. There's one at Bond.
I'll have to look up the address and see.
That's right. That's
I can look at it after the thing
Yeah,
and see.
yeah, no problem. So you got several there.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
Thank you.
that, I've already red tagged them, so come Tuesday,
Thank
they ain't cleaned up. They're gonna be the first ones. So,
Gentlemen, next regular meeting, May 13th at 11 a.m. That's a quick turnaround, but it gets us back on our regular schedule here.
Thank you for today too, guys.
you said May 13th
May 13th, yeah, it's a reoccurring.
at 11.
Any other business to come before the board today?
How is the one on the Meridian? So that's the one you said you're putting your money.
Yeah, he's got that. I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah,
He's got
have you
that.
seen it then over on Washington as well?
I'm gonna talk with him after that one. I'm gonna try and do, it's the same person back to
Same
back,
person.
see if we can. You're already there in the backyard, you might as well get the other one because they're together. It's the same person, but we'll discuss that.
Piled up, just like this.
Yep.
All right.
Thank you.
You want to show us any other business? Hearing none, I'll show us adjourned at 11:31.
Here you go.